Good morning, everybody.
We've just been sitting here talking.
Yeah, but we weren't really talking about anything important.
So yesterday at the New York Red Bulls game, the soccer game, the players were lined up on the field with the junior New York Red Bulls. They look like they're
Juniors?
middle school maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And it was downpouring. And the MLS players all had like raincoats on and little kids didn't. So one player unzips it and puts it on the kid in front of him. And then it's like a cute video and it's like, we're not crying, you are, whatever. But you know that second player was probably like, fuck.
Yeah, it's like you're the second person in that, what's it called when people like pay for the people behind them?
Yeah, it was
What's
like a
that
pay
called?
it forward.
Yeah, pay it forward.
Now I want to know if the person that's in charge of uniforms was like, oh, come on. Because you know those kids kept them.
Oh, of course.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning and welcome to the Carla Marie and Anthony Show. My name is Anthony. Bless you. God bless you. That is Carla Marie.
I'm Carla. First thing I said today on the show was a sneeze.
Allergic to fantastic live streams.
That's what
Carla Marie is. Good morning. Like I said, we've got a couple things we got to get to today. Once Carla Marie gets all the boogers out of her nose, I'll just throw the list up on the screen. Are you okay?
That was weird.
You had all that time before the show. It had to happen just then. I guess before the pandemic, I didn't really care. But now when I sneeze in public, I always think everyone thinks I'm diseased all of a sudden.
Well, because they do, and because I would too. A sneeze is but I was working out the other day and someone was coughing near me, and I was like, you can control this.
I do think we need to. You can't see me. Oh, what the heck? That's the wrong screen. There we go. Thank you, Amy.
Was no one saying anything in the chat?
I didn't have the chat up because I had this screen up.
No, but I saw it.
Yeah, there we go. Change screen. Well, thanks, everybody.
No faces.
Here, I'll do this instead.
Change screen. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here.
There we go. Now everything is working.
Nope.
What do you mean?
Okay. I need my own.
Okay, well, you don't have your own right now, so before you start switching things around.
I just wanted to scroll down.
Okay. So, what was I saying? Oh, I do think, because you mentioned people coughing around you, Carla Marie. I feel like even though during the pandemic there were a million like PSAs about, covering your mouth when you sneeze and cough or washing your hands.
I forgot that Apple Watch created that thing that taught you how long to wash your hands for.
Well, apparently it doesn't matter because the amount of adults that I still see in public coughing like 2-year-olds, like,
that's what I saw the other day.
Pull yourselves together, people.
I mean, sometimes it'll catch up on me. I'm like, ugh.
You should be able to turn away.
Well, yeah.
In some way. You focus that coughing energy on the floor. I don't know. But it's just the amount of people I see. And because you know that little kid cough, right? a little kid coughs directly in your face, and like their tongue comes out at the same time somehow. It's just
everyone
it's gross.
I know that has children is just sick around the clock.
Oh yeah,
and there's nothing. I don't remember my mom being sick around the clock.
that's because you were the one getting her sick, and you probably didn't care.
I don't think my sister. I take that back. Ashley always had tonsillitis, like she strep throat around all the time. I always had stomach problems.
My thing was ear infections,
And ear infections, I did. I'm
Which I still
surprised
get.
I can hear.
I still get those. Let's see. Same thing. Same applies to blowing your nose. Excuse yourself and do it outside, says Audrey. I wonder, are people in Europe a little more cautious or conscientious when they sneeze and blow their nose and cough and stuff?
Yes, Americans are like literal like.
Are we? We
We're
really
all
are.
teenagers.
We are the cavemen of the world, aren't we?
Yeah, we didn't fully evolve yet.
Which is why probably we're like good at war and stuff. It was just that's all the millions of dollars that go into it. But I feel like oftentimes we are the cavemen of the developed world.
And other countries look at us like that. Because I have friends in Egypt, and whenever like wild stuff happens here, I'll randomly talk to them, and I'm like, "So what's the consensus over there about us?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "People, we just don't understand America. You're supposed to be the best, but you never act like it."
We spend the most, which is why we have so much power.
So we need a special birthday song.
Oh, what do you got?
It's Jen and Lisa's dad's 68th birthday. Mr. P.
I got to meet him.
What?
No, I picked up cookies.
He loves his You Look Great stuff.
He was wearing and he was so proud of his You Look Great shirt when I came by. He was showing it off. He was like, it was like a basketball player that just scored points. He did one of these.
That's the cutest. Happy birthday. I think we need to market to older gentlemen.
Why?
Specifically for You Look Great gear. Because they love it. Because there's nothing more that they love than to be like, hey, you look like they love doing that. And I was wearing one. Actually, it was bizarre. I took a Pure Barre class, and a dad came in to get his wife and daughter, and they were full adults. He just popped in, I guess, because he probably parked early, typical dad behavior.
Yeah.
And he was like, I love your shirt. And I said, thank you. And I was like frazzled, and I'm like, it's always weird to say, oh, this is mine. And I said, thank you very much. He goes, no, really, that's awesome. That's great. And I was like, thanks, yeah. Then I turned around, I was like, by the way, it's mine.
Do nursing homes have colors like high schools? Because maybe we could like work with nursing homes and get like
for when they go fight against the other nursing home?
Yeah. When they play like kickball against one another. Or what's a card game you can play? Bridge? Do they play bridge against each other? Mahjong you play by yourself, no? I've only played it by myself on a Windows computer, so I've never actually seen Mahjong played in real life with either cards or tiles or whatever you use.
I wasn't going that old, but
I think we could do it. I think we could work with like
with my dad's friends alone, we're set.
But they'd have to have the Italian flag colors for
I
theirs.
also think they love it because the font is so big.
It is very big. Fred the Mailman said gin rummy gangs.
Gang.
Do they have sports leagues in old people's homes? They've got to, right?
No.
Because
have you ever been to an old person home?
No one.
There's nothing great about it.
But that maybe because they don't have sports. It's probably why.
Like, that's something that lives rent-free in my head forever.
What?
My grandma was in a nursing home for a few days until I said, absolutely not happening. And I know not everyone can do this. And I yelled at my dad. I was like, she's like, it's immediately got worse putting her in there. Mm-hmm. What are we doing? And
yeah, but not everyone has the ability to look after someone. Like I know I never saw her while she was there, but my great aunt, so my grandfather's sister, had dementia.
Yep.
And it got to a point where it was dangerous for her.
Yeah, they can't.
And everyone's got their own jobs and whatnot.
It's worse than a baby because they can physically move.
Yeah. And it's worse than a baby too because if you see a baby walking around on the street by itself, you're going to stop normally.
Silver alert.
But generally speaking, if they're walking on the sidewalk, how many times are you going to stop and ask an old person if they know where they are or if they're supposed to be out, right? But if you saw a 1-year-old, if someone saw baby Michael walking down the street, they'd probably stop and be like, "Kid, where are your
I
parents?"
do it with dogs.
But maybe they need sports leagues. Bingo. Apparently that's big.
Definitely big.
Yeah, I've never been to a nursing home. Aren't they like cooler now though? Haven't
Actually,
people made them cool?
When I was visiting my grandma, they were about to play bingo at her nursing home. And I wheeled her over to the table and she's like, "Oh, I can't stand this one over here." And that's what's crazy is like other people in the nursing home probably know if you have all your wits about you and you're, there for other reasons, you probably know like this lady's whatever. I get it. But I'm like now awkwardly dealing with this. Like, yeah, Graham, shut up. Which, by the way, it would have been her 102nd birthday this past Friday.
Old people also, you lose your filter with every year of age. Yeah. So you get to a point, especially in those homes, where you're just saying whatever you feel like saying.
Well, I think our demographic for You Look Great shirts needs to be like a few levels younger than that.
Well, because they're opening isn't it like a assisted living place down the street from us?
I don't think it's we're not fully sure. Aegis, which is weird because it sounds like you're saying ageist.
Yeah. But it's like for older people to move in. It's like an older community.
Yes. But like older.
It's kind of like all of Florida in a building.
Well, because you know how there's like the 50 and over communities or whatever?
Yeah.
This is older than that.
So like believe. 60 and over?
But I think it's like more, not necessarily you need help, but they have a bar.
That's pretty cool. I wonder if homes down the road, and it probably is going to start happening in the next 20 years. Because right now it's bingo, right? And card games, bridge, bingo, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I wonder if they're going to have to start building gaming rooms, like video games.
For old people.
For old people in like 20 years, right? Because if you grew up in the Nintendo or Sega era.
You're in your 50s, 60s right now.
You're not that far off. You could be a video gaming old person in a home. And that's going to be way more entertaining than playing Mahjong.
Lenny said that new senior centers have them. I bet it's also good for their brains and hand-eye cord.
The dexterity. Little finger manipulation.
I'm going to run the Super Nintendo.
Let's see. What am I reading here in the chat? Oh, my grandma had money stolen from her in a nursing home. It was only $200 to give her grandkids, but still they gaslit her and said she must have forgotten, and she was really sharp for 93. Who did you ever find out who stole it? It's got to be a nurse or something, right? A nurse, a cleaning, or maybe another patient. I guess anyone could have stolen. Anyone who has access. That's crazy. And yeah, that's true. I guess the games would have to be on a pretty big screen.
We got it.
But I can imagine like a really cool gaming room in a nursing home. But you need, I feel like, because they got all the time in the world, you'd
have to reserve some time.
You'd have to have a lot of stations.
I would love to. Old dudes like playing Call of Duty.
Yeah.
With like their grandkids on a headset.
There's an older guy who I've seen on social media recently, who I guess he's like a military veteran, and he'll go on and he'll play Call of Duty, or he'll play like one of the war fighting games, and I don't know if he was a sniper, but he like the things that usually go viral are like sniper shots or like crazy kills in those games, and he's just out there explaining everything he's doing from like military terms and just destroying people.
What's crazy about being a sniper in real life is that, like, you're killing people.
You know, that's the crazy part of anyone who goes to war.
I know.
That's that's the reality of it.
Like, it's your job to just...
That's most of their jobs. It is funny. There's a couple times, especially because here in Washington, we've got 3 bases. We have all 3 branches that are pretty equally represented out here. We have Bremerton for the Navy, and then we have JBLM for the Air Force and the Army.
So what about Coast Guard?
And we have the Coast Guard.
Where?
On the coast. There's a big Coast Guard ship down by the down by the piers.
Down by the bay?
Yeah, where the watermelons grow. Anyway, you know, a lot of people will say things when they see people in uniform or they find out they served. They'll be like, oh, thank you for your service. And I've heard a lot of people say, like, I never did anything. I did logistics. Like, please.
They don't say that.
No, I have. I've heard them.
I've never heard that.
And they'll say, I did logistics here in America. Like,
They
you
say
don't need
you're
to, you don't need to thank me. A lot of people will just say thank you and move on.
They'll say you're welcome or thank you or something back.
Yeah.
Because well, I guess to be fair, I never hear that. The ones that I'm with are normally the ones that were fighter pilots in all the things because they're the ones that get like recognized on the field at Seahawks games.
Oh yeah.
So I'm always like, thank you for your service to them, and they're like, got all the patches. They were the ones like in Top Gun, teaching Tom Cruise how to do flips.
Let's see. Oh, Jess from Minnesota said the Coast Guard base is the best place to park for Hawks games.
Yeah, there is a downtown location. I met.
So when I said the Coast Guard was down by the pier.
I forgot. So when I was hosting that fan event in January for the Seahawks, a woman came up to me. They moved here from Florida, knew us from Elvis's show, but they moved because her husband got stationed. And I was like, oh, where is the base? And he's like, right outside. I was like, what?
We do have to get into this list, right? So we have the cat party here in Seattle, which we got to talk about. Stealing from a teacher. And the gentlemanly rule I did not know, but thanks to the internet, I now do know it, and I can share it with you. But the first thing on the list is the cat party in Seattle. What was the convention called?
Popcats.
Popcats. Not Top Cats.
Pop.
And I was influenced by our chef friend, Joel, who apparently took his son there, and he was posting his stories. And
his child son.
Yeah. And he was posting all these stories from this cat event. And I thought maybe he was traveling or something. So by the 7th or 8th slide that I saw, he mentioned something about a cat carnival. So I messaged him and I said, hey, where is this? And he said, it's right by the ballet here in Seattle.
Which is where Carnival of Cocktails was.
Which we'll get to in a second, because I think Carnival of Cocktails ruined this event for me.
Oh.
I'll explain that in a good way. So I looked it up. The carnival the Popcat convention was going on Saturday and Sunday.
I've been getting ads for this convention for months.
Yeah, I had no idea it existed. And I decided, you know what, let's just go. So I kind of surprised Carla Marie.
Yeah, I didn't know where we were going.
We drove straight to the exhibition center, right? Exhibition hall. And it was like $20 a ticket, so it wasn't bad. Bought them online, super easy. I think with taxes, it came out to like $45 for both of us to get in. A little bit of a line when it first opened, which is good. You want people there. And even though it was a good event, like I enjoyed my time there, it kind of gave off those like Willy Wonka Scotland vibes.
Definitely Willy Wonka Glasgow vibes.
But it wasn't terrible. I didn't feel like I got scammed.
No, like the vendors that were there were amazing. If those vendors weren't there, obviously.
And what was cool in the event, just to give people an idea of what happens at this cat convention, there were at least 3 different areas where you can like interact with cats and maybe adopt them. There were a couple rescues and different organizations that were represented. And then like every convention, there's people selling different cat-themed things.
But it was fun because it was for humans and cats.
Yes.
So I got them some toys, which they loved.
A lot of cute T-shirts and pins. And
we met Nalise, who is the owner of Coco Loves Gray. Super fun, bright neon earrings. Most of them cat themed. She also has non-cat themed stuff.
Yeah.
But she was like, "Oh my god, I've listened to you guys forever." That was really cool. But yeah, there was catnip and the cat toothbrushes, which, you know what? I was walking around like, I have that. You
had a lot of the stuff. So yeah, it was a lot of small businesses, side hustles, independent makers and whatnot. And then there were a couple bigger companies, like there was like a Little Robot type company that was there. And I think if it was in a smaller space, it wouldn't have given off the Willy Wonka vibes, but there was just a lot of like
dead space,
not used space.
And it was definitely geared towards kids because you can like arts and crafts your cat. It was like,
no, they had some cool things. They had like a pottery type painting thing, some other painting and activities.
What I didn't know is that you could bring your own cat.
That was cool. Seeing people walk around with their cats in public was pretty fun.
The best. And I got to pet a Sphinx for the first time.
Those are the hairless cats?
It was as soft as a blanket.
Really?
They have little tiny fuzzes on them. So that's why when people are like, oh, I need a hairless cat, you're still going to be allergic, first of all, because you're not allergic to the cat hairs. You're allergic to their saliva, and their saliva gets on their
sure? Always? Every single allergy for cats is their saliva.
99% sure.
I don't know anything about it, so I can't really comment.
So, anyway, it was so fuzzy.
Let's see. Tacoma Swifty said go to See Meow convention next time they come.
I have seen that one pop up.
I did see there was another cat convention coming in November, I believe. Yeah.
I want to go to the Mecca.
What is that?
Cat Con.
And where is that?
This year it's in Pasadena. It's
huge.
huge.
It travels?
All the cat influencers are there. Like the cats
Like
and
who?
their parents. Cat Daddy, he goes.
I don't know who that is.
What?
I don't know who that is.
Jackson Galaxy's always there.
The grumpy cat's dead now, right?
The little, yes.
Which is like the influencer cat that died kind of recently.
Lil Bub and Grumpy Cat. Grumpy Cat died right before COVID because I remember doing that break on the show, on the radio show, and then you started laughing, and then Evan started laughing, and I was like,
yeah, people got mad at us too.
yeah, it was great though. It was actually one of my favorite moments ever on the radio. If I can go back and listen to it, I don't know where it is, but it was so fun.
And, we didn't want to laugh. I forgot what happened exactly. But I remember we were like, you know what it turned into? It turned into...
I'm not supposed to laugh, so I'm laughing.
Exactly. We knew we weren't supposed to be laughing in that moment, so the giggle turned into an all-out, like, laugh fest because we just couldn't contain it. So we were, like, tearing up and feeling bad and laughing all at the same time.
Oh, God.
Oh, Carla Marie, so according to Scotty, the saliva allergy for cats is more rare than dander. And again, the dander is from their fur, correct?
I don't know, but I'll tell you what. This Sphinx cat could definitely have dander.
All right, Z from NYC, Grumpy Cat passed away a few years ago.
Yeah, it was 2019. It was before COVID.
Lil Bub, R.I.P.
Hold on. There was a shirt that was like big gay cat guy or something.
Oh, at the convention? Yeah.
Yeah.
It said, I think it just said,
Scotty, I was going to get it for you.
big gay cat guy. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, there were a lot of cool things. A lot of people who were like independently printing their shirts at home, or like Nalise has a not a vinyl cutter.
3D.
What was it?
3D printer?
No. It was like a laser engraver type of thing. She was making all of her stuff out of. So it was really cool. But the reason I said Seattle Cocktail Club may have ruined this cat convention for me is when you walk in, and if you've been there, you know. But Carnival of Cocktails. When you walk in, wall to wall is used cool space. Like it's being used.
Like you're greeted with like the gin garden right away. And granted, this did have like a thing when you walk in. It was like 2 Sphinx cats and whatever, but it's different.
Mm-hmm.
And this, like yesterday, you went through a tunnel that went to nowhere.
Yeah. So I think maybe they need to like partner with Gillywagon and do a better job next year. Because it's a cool vibe, and everyone there is really nice. Obviously, a bunch of nerdy cat people. Everyone that you would expect to see at a cat convention, you saw.
I was in my element. Everyone was so nice. Everyone was quiet and kind. It was great.
We're gonna snooze that ad one more time because I gotta get something ready. But I would say, I mean, listen, if Pop Cat, which way does it go? Cat Pop or Pop Cat?
Pop Cats.
Pop Cats. If it comes to your area, definitely go. I don't want you to think it was a bad event by any means.
But when you think Carnival of Cocktails, there's like hundreds of vendors.
Yeah. And maybe, I don't know, maybe this is the first year they had it here and they just need to grow a little bit.
But it was definitely cool.
And if you have kids, it'll be awesome because they can play with cats, they can paint, they can color, they can do all of that stuff as well. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to jump into our break for a second. Going to come back and talk about how Carla Marie is possibly stealing from a teacher.
It's facts.
I will put the screen on in a second. Sorry.
Why would it? Good, no one played. We lost everything.
Sorry, we'll play. We'll see
if
how
we can get
fast.
it.
Yeah. All right. Pretty good run. I don't even think we made it to that final lock before all the guesses were in. So let's get back to the show, shall we? Carla Marie, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
You sure?
What?
Are you sure? You don't look ready
I'm
to me.
probably going to have to pee in 10 minutes. I didn't have to go now.
What?
I didn't have to.
All right.
Oh, shut up, game.
Hold on 1 second. Sorry.
You know what it sounds like? Mario Kart.
A little bit.
It
Yeah.
gives giving those vibes.
I wonder if we should
So
play that in
says-
the beginning of the show too.
Go back.
Go back to what?
It says add in progress. Go to the. Nope. There was another screen you were on where the. Right there.
Over here? It should have been done. I think this is also delayed a little bit.
Well, that's.
Do you want to wait? We can wait 20 seconds.
20,
No,
19.
I'm not going to do that, though. It's also really weird for anyone watching on YouTube because none of the stuff, the ads, and you can't like play the game through YouTube. You've got to play it through Twitch. Well, I
But they
wonder if
can
I
see
can
the
connect. They
game.
can see it, yeah, and they can yell to themselves, but they can't actually play unless they are on Twitch. So now on our screen it says that the ad is over.
Okay.
Yes. All right.
It also says we're unstable.
Yeah, that's normal though.
That it says that or that we're unstable?
Both.
Okay.
It actually, both of those things happen pretty often. All right, so back to our list today.
Mm-hmm.
Stealing from a teacher.
Mm.
So, Carla Marie, explain yourself and why you stole from this teacher.
Okay. This was like one of those moments of, I think, not that I'm going to go to hell for, but one of those moments of where you get tested by the universe if you're a good person or not, and I failed.
Okay.
So, we were cleaning out our closet this weekend. We switched storage units. Like, we were just on a rampage of getting rid of things, donating, posting things to Facebook Marketplace. And I had a cat puzzle that I've never opened. It's a jigsaw puzzle, like it's still sealed. And I was like, I'm just gonna post this for $10 on Facebook Marketplace. If no one wants it by tomorrow, I'll donate it or whatever. We'll figure it out. I posted it for $10. It's like $25 regularly. Within minutes, someone messaged me and was like, hey, I can come pick it up now. Whatever.
Sweet.
So I meet her. We're still like cleaning the closet. Like it was immediately. And I meet her on the like corner by our house. And she's like, oh, thank you so much. She's like, it's sealed, right? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I literally just posted it. She goes, yeah, no, that's perfect. I'm a teacher and I'm going to give it as a prize for my students. And I just want to make sure all the pieces are there. I'm like, yeah, I've never used it. And she hands me the $10. And in my head, I'm like, no, tell her to keep it. She's a teacher. It's for kids. And then I was like, no, that's weird to do that to somebody. And then I was just like, and I walked away. I was like, no. And I was about to yell at her, take your $10 back. And I just had this, what felt like such a long internal battle, but it happened in 3 seconds.
Yeah, you're definitely a terrible person.
I got back to the house and I was like, maybe she has Venmo. I couldn't find her name on Venmo. And I was like, well, I can't message her and be like, come get your $10. I 100% felt like I stole from the youth of America.
And obviously you weren't stealing from her, right? You offered something. She gave you the money for it. End of transaction. I do think a lot of people hearing her story would have
pump the brakes on that.
Maybe just given it to her.
It wasn't a story. It was very quick.
It was for the kids, Carla
I was
Marie.
with her for less than 20 seconds.
This woman was trying to do something nice for her kids, for her students.
Let me tell you, for the next 10 minutes, wanted to throw up. And then I looked at my living room and was like, you need to clean. So
Lisa has a good solution here, though. She said, take the $10 and put it towards an Amazon wish list. You didn't steal, but if you feel inclined to donate, you can do that.
I did say, I'm gonna go adopt a classroom. Is what I said after.
For $10?
Well, that's what it's called.
What?
You adopt a classroom, but I don't think you...
It's like adopt a highway?
I said I'm going to start Scott's Tots.
That's true. She did get it cheaper than if she bought it at a store, which was the whole point.
And how awesome that there's a little cat kid so happy.
And here's my favorite part, is Carla Marie took a gift that someone gave her for free.
I've had that for 6 years and haven't opened it.
And sold it to a teacher for her classroom.
Okay, if she would have messaged...
You flipped a $0 investment on your part to a $10 return.
Yeah.
Not bad.
But
I'm sure some finance bro on Instagram is very proud of you.
If she would have said in the messages, like, hey, just want to make sure it is definitely sealed, I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
I would have had the time to process that, and I would never taken the money from her.
What?
But it happened so fast. We're in the middle of the street. There was a lot going on.
No, I mean, listen, you didn't do anything wrong.
But the battle that I had with myself after, I was like, you're such an ass.
And I think the important thing to remember is you don't necessarily have to do anything wrong to be a bad person, right? I think that's the lesson here, is you can do the right thing that you set out to do and still be a bad person.
So why even try?
Exactly. Let's see. You just gave the teacher a free lesson on capitalism and economics. Here's the thing, though. Scotty said, but it was in storage. It was in a storage unit, so you were paying for that. The puzzle never made it to the storage unit. That's just been in our living space forever.
But I'm paying for the house.
You are paying for the house, but you would have been paying for the house whether or not the puzzle was there.
Well, I also would have been paying. I wouldn't have just this puzzle in the storage.
That's true. No, you know what? It's the thought that counts, right? You thought you wanted to donate and do something nice. So it counts.
No.
Isn't that what it means? It's the thought that counts. You thought about maybe giving it to her for free.
I wish I didn't think about it, because then I wouldn't have felt about it. I literally felt like Scott's Tots after it.
What was Scott's Tots again?
You find out watching The Office that years ago, before we started watching The Office, like when Michael Scott was living his life, he went to a preschool, pre-K, and he promised them all free college tuition. And then from him, and they called it Scott's Tots, was the program.
Okay.
And then you find out, like, hey, Aaron, his secretary at the time, comes to him and is like, hey, Michael, the high school wants to talk to you, whatever, it's time, they're all graduating. And he's like, I have to tell them I can't send them to college. And he gets there, and as they start seeing him, they're like, if it wasn't for you, this would have never happened. I'm going to pay for my grandma to do whatever. And then they're like, Michael, I don't think you understand. Like, we've never had this many students even graduate high school because they all knew you'd pay for college. Like, you've changed this whole school around. And then he comes and he like tries to give them a keyboard or laptop covers.
Yeah, it's Meg, not Megan, said all they got were laptop chargers.
Laptop chargers. That's what it was. Everyone talks about how it's like so cringe they can't watch that episode.
Really?
That's
perfect though.
I
That's
love it.
That's the whole point.
I love it.
I don't think I've seen that full episode. I've definitely seen parts of it, but I've
that's
never
what
seen
I felt like.
episode.
I robbed from the youth of America.
You did, and that's okay. Let's talk about this gentlemanly rule.
Oh.
Gentlemanly rule. I can barely say the word.
But what I was thinking is I could message her on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
And say, do you have an Amazon wish list for your classroom? Because I don't like.
Yeah, she's going to say puzzles, bitch.
Because then I can add her to like a list of things that when it comes time for the new school year.
Like puzzles?
And I can put it in the chat and everybody can buy it.
You're going to buy all the things she wants on her wish list and post them to offer up. Carla Marie's got a real great scheme here. Okay, the gentlemanly rule that I did not know existed. So there was someone on Instagram who posted some like unwritten rule about relationships. And Jordan the Stallion, one of my favorite Instagram accounts,
you love him,
responded. Although I'm starting to not like Jordan the Stallion as much, only because he's doing a lot of like celeb things now.
That's what happens.
And I get it, because all these celebrities, like Kevin Hart wanted to use Jordan the Stallion to keep looking cool, so they did a video together. He did a video with Method Man. I love Method Man. Love Jordan the Stallion.
Are you just jealous?
A little bit. Anyway, so Jordan the Stallion does this Stitch video, essentially, with this unwritten rule, and goes through a bunch of unwritten rules about when on a date you can eat first versus waiting for your date to get their food. And it's, obviously, if your food is hot and theirs is cold, technically the rules, whoever writes these rules says you're allowed to eat first.
If it's just one person, you always wait, unless it's like, we got to go, hurry up and eat.
Yeah. So one of the rules he was talking about was how you're supposed to hold the door open and let the woman go through first. But that's not always true, and I didn't know this. You are supposed to hold the door open and let the woman go through the doorway first, if it is a place that you are either familiar with or have been to before.
Okay.
Or trust or have been to before. However, if it is a new place that neither of you have been to, the man is supposed to walk through first, and then hold the door obviously behind you so that the woman can come through. Because you're supposed to check out, as the guy, the new space first and make sure it's safe and clear the room, essentially.
Question.
Yes.
What kind of spaces are we talking about? Because I would say that applies to haunted houses and abandoned hospitals. But like, if we're going into a store we've never been to before on like Ballard Ave,
that's apparently the rule. Probably not retail stores.
So
because the ladies are supposed to go there on their own, I think.
Give me a place that it would make sense.
Maybe like you're going to a party of some sort that's hosted at a venue, and you walk into the venue, the man is supposed to walk in first, according to this rule, this unwritten rule that is now on the internet.
To make sure it's safe?
Yeah, to like kind of scope it out.
And what are you going to do?
Maybe you turn around and say, this isn't safe, we've got to go. Or maybe there's a fight breaking out in the saloon that you're walking into, and you held the door open, and your little lady walked in and took a right to the jaw. That should have been your jaw that took the right.
This definitely applies to saloons and abandoned
Absolutely
hospitals.
Saloons. If you ever walk into a Wild West saloon.
You swing the door open.
Yeah. And you scout the area out.
Why did they have swinging doors? Horses, right? Something with horses?
I don't think you were allowed to bring the horse into the saloon.
There was something with Amy. Amy's got to know the answer to this. They didn't have real doors. Why?
Expensive. I don't know. Doors are expensive in the Wild West. I got no idea. I do love swinging doors, though. My grandmother's house used to have a swinging door. Not like a front door. She had a real door that locked. But from I believe it was the kitchen to the dining room, there was like a swinging door. And I think the reason you had a swinging door for that entryway was...
Why did saloons have swinging doors is the first thing.
Well, the reason my grandmother's house had it, I'm
Sorry,
assuming, because it was built, in the late 1800s, was when the wife was bringing out the food, her hands would be full.
Right.
And she couldn't open the
but
door.
why even put them?
I don't know. Maybe to block when you're entertaining guests, to block what's happening in the kitchen.
Saloon owners love this style of doors because they let fresh air in and smoke out while allowing a cross breeze to cold the air. They also were able to maintain some privacy by having empty. So was it either that or no door?
Yeah, they could have had a door with a knob. No, like a regular hinged door that had some vents.
I tell you what, it did provide great comedy in Wild West movies because then it hits you in the head. Amy's got to know. Amy!
I think they're having a meeting or something.
Are you working?
I mean, she's in her office. I would assume she's working. What do you mean, are you working? She's literally, this is her place of business.
Why did saloons have swinging doors and not regular doors? It's not a joke.
She thinks you know this. I have no idea.
Like, why did they have those doors?
Like a saloon door, like your typical saloon double swinging door.
You would kick it. Get out of here. I thought you would know that. I thought you would know that. It's not a joke. I don't know the answer. Did doctors' offices have those?
If they were in a saloon. Because sometimes your saloon wasn't just for drinking. You'd actually
It does sound like I'm telling a joke. That's why.
Anyway, the other rules that I've... Yes.
Quora?
Oh, yeah. That doesn't give you real answers, though.
That's great. They are so good.
Okay.
What was the purpose of saloon doors and why did they not just use regular doors is what someone wrote. Mostly because they were cheaper and easier to use as props when staging a Western movie production. So maybe they weren't...
Oh, maybe it was just for the movies, like spaghetti westerns. That's what they're called, right? Spaghetti westerns.
The typical Western saloon was a narrow, long establishment built to conform to the dimensions of the lot it occupied. Often the front of the business would be a small room where tobacco products and sometimes liquor was sold. The bar would be behind that. Okay, so it... Wow. All right, so I love when we learn things on here.
So it could have just been for the movies. Like, real saloons may not have had swinging doors, but I understand if you're trying to film a movie, the process of opening and closing a door isn't really that dramatic.
And
but if you come through a swinging door as like a gunslinging
Who's
deputy,
been talking dirt on my name?
What?
That's what they say.
Did you take that from Toy Story? What Westerns have you watched?
So many Westerns.
Okay. What did you say? Who's been talking dirt on my name? Oh, boy. Anyway, Carla Marie. It sounded like there's a snake in my boot. You did it with the same inflection as there's a snake in my boot.
I can't do accents. We know that.
No. So it does make sense, though. If you're trying to have like a dramatic entrance in a Western, whether the deputy or the gang leader comes in, swinging doors are way more dramatic as opposed to, I mean, you could swing a door open, not the same. And plus, if you're swinging the door open, you can't have your hands on your holsters. If you kick a door in, you could do that.
This is going to be something that I'm going to heavily research, and it will be like my did you know fact.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club of ruining every moment because you have to tell someone a weird fact you know, because that's how I live my life.
I know.
And I know people hate me for it. Conversations take way longer with me because if I know it, it's like word vomit. The did you know comes out very quickly. Yeah, sure. Calamity Carla is your Western name. I love that.
Calamity means what? Calamity
is like a tussle, a fight, an issue. It's kind of a catch-all word. You could use it for
chaos.
Chaos and calamity
That's
work.
What I thought.
Yeah.
Calamity Jane.
Yeah.
What is she from?
The
Is it
West?
her own show? Was she a real person?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, she was a real person.
Like Annie Oakley?
I don't know who that is. The founder of Oakley Sunglasses?
Annie, get your gun?
Never seen it.
I saw it at Paper Mill Playhouse.
Good for you. I did not.
Calamity Jane.
Yeah, she's a real person. I believe she was like somehow, I don't know if it's just from maybe the show Deadwood
Well, she has her own show.
or some other show I saw. I think she may have been somehow tied to Bill Hickok,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. So, Mary Jane Canary, better known as Calamity Jane, an American frontierswoman, sharpshooter, and storyteller.
Wait, we could have called her Calamity Canary, and we called her Calamity Jane?
They didn't know alliteration yet. There's no way.
Okay, so...
In addition to many exploits, she was known for being an acquaintance of Wild Bill Hickok.
Yep.
Late in her life, she appeared in Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. She was born in 1852 and died in 1903.
It's a pretty good life.
And for then?
For a gunslinger?
True.
Pretty good.
How did she die? I'm going to be here for Halloween. She died at 51. Death. Where is it? I always got to click that drop down on Wiki.
Yeah.
This is a long story. Looks like she got... Oh.
Is there
Deadwood.
Yeah, she has a character that's, I think, loosely based on her. I don't know if it's fully based on her in Deadwood. I think you'd actually really like Deadwood.
Oh, wow. Apparently, she drank a lot on a train, and then a physician, they had to carry her off, and a physician was summoned, and her condition deteriorated quickly. But what was the condition? Just drunk?
Maybe she drank herself to death? Because that is one of the storylines in Deadwood, is she drinks, like, a lot. And I think it's after Bill Hickok dies, she becomes, like, inconsolable, basically. Kind of, like, loses her purpose in life.
So
At least
were they
that's
in love?
But again, that's according to...
She had pneumonia.
But that's, again, according to Deadwood. I don't know much
She's
about
buried
her.
in Deadwood. We could have saw her house, her cemetery.
That'd be cool. Deadwood is definitely a place everyone should go.
The coolest.
Deadwood as a city. So one of the cool things about Deadwood is it was a mining town. And unfortunately...
South Dakota.
Yes, South Dakota. It is one of the reasons that I believe the battle at Little Bighorn actually went down. Because what happened was Deadwood became a western town when gold was found in the Black Hills. But that was designated by the government through a treaty Indian land, Native American land. But once gold was found there, a bunch of American settlers said, we don't care about this treaty. We're going to live there anyway. Deadwood was founded, yada, yada, yada. So it became a Wild West mining town. After the mines dried up, this whole town had like nothing left, which is why they were able, along with Atlantic City and Las Vegas, at one point they were one of the only 3 places in America where there was legalized gambling because they turned the whole town into a historical site. So everything has to be built within old buildings and preserved. It's really cool. It's a really cool slice of history to go check out. And saloon number 10, or 12, what was the number?
10.
10? I don't know if it's in the same exact spot that it was when Bill Hickok was shot in that saloon, but they have the chair that he was allegedly shot in behind the bar, encased
Where
in
did we
glass.
see his gun? Alaska?
We saw Doc Holliday's gun
Oh.
in
Can't
Alaska
keep track of these
at
guys.
the Red Dog Saloon, I believe, in
Yes.
Juneau.
Well, Deadwood is really cool, and they have swinging doors.
Just like the movies.
All right, I'm going to research. I'm going to do a book report on Calamity Jane.
Do it. I'd love
Oh,
to.
look. People also search for Wild Bill Hickok, Buffalo Bill, and Annie Oakley.
So what is Annie Oakley's deal? Why does she have to grab her gun? Or get her gun?
She
What's the name of the play?
also a sharpshooter.
Annie, get your gun?
Annie, get your gun.
Okay. What's her deal?
Sharpshooter who starred in Buffalo Bill's Wild West. So he had a show?
Yeah, it was kind of like a traveling circus, but with just Wild West things. So there were also a lot of like the famous Native American chiefs who lived up until Bill Hickok was around. Or not Bill Hickok, Wild Bill. He would pay a lot of them, and they'd go on tour, essentially. And they'd make a decent amount of money, almost being like paraded around America.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, not that they were paraded around.
I mean, it's weird. It's one of those things where he gave a lot of them an opportunity to make money that they wouldn't have had otherwise, but the whole situation sucks.
I want to just see what the play. I don't remember the play, but I do remember.
Buffalo Bill is buried in Golden, Colorado, and it's a tourist attraction. I feel like we drove by that, actually. Some Wild Bill
it's a Annie Get Your Gun.
site.
The movie gets 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Hey, Mark, is Golden, Colorado between Denver and Vail if I was driving whatever that highway is? Because I think I stopped off the highway and saw a Wild Bill memorial of some sort.
I saw this at a thing in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, not Paper Mill Playhouse. When I went to Gettysburg.
Yes.
In high school.
I wasn't there. I don't know.
Middle school. We went to see Annie Get Your Gun at some cool play where there's a buffet and you get food.
In Gettysburg.
Out.
I don't know. I can't piece together your childhood memories, Carla Marie. Okay, yeah, so it is off I-70. So I did actually stop there. Yeah, thank you, Fred. I've been mixing up Bill Hickok and Wild Bill.
Why was Bill, I guess William.
So there's Buffalo Bill and Wild Bill. I've been mixing them up. One of them was shot in the back. That's Wild Bill Hickok at a saloon in Deadwood. The other had a traveling Western circus, basically.
Two different Bills.
Yeah.
Oh, we went to his cemetery. Yeah, we did.
Did you miss this?
No, I did, but I just saw what we went. Everything makes sense now. We did go to him.
Yeah, there's like a little store.
Yeah, the store
that has
was
a
cool.
bunch of stuff that you
Snacks,
can buy.
Treats. There was ice cream.
Carla is going to go through their whole inventory. What else do they have, Carla Marie?
All I know is that if I die, I will be composted. But where you compost me, it would be so cool if there's a little treat shop.
You got to do something to have your treat shop, though.
What did he do?
He had his circus. It'd be like if...
I have a circus. Have you seen my house?
It's not the same. It's interesting because I believe he also gave a lot of former Civil War vets jobs as well through his traveling.
So what you're saying is to solve the crisis of vets coming home.
Yeah.
And
put
not
him in a
having
circus?
anything. We're going to put him in a circus.
I don't know if he solved anything. I do know he profited off of a lot.
Because it does not seem like ideal.
Is it like a Western version of Medieval Manor?
Medieval times?
It could have been. I don't really know what the show encompassed. I've heard a lot about Buffalo Bill. But I'm sure there's some sort of like
watch Annie Get Your Gun
manuscript of everything that happens in his common shows. What was the deal with Annie Get Your Gun though?
It's a story about Annie.
And what does she do other than get her gun?
She's in his stuff.
In the show or movie or
The
whatever?
play is about her life.
Okay.
And in the play, there's a lot of but now she's acting in his thing. I remember that being like a thing.
Well, as Carla Marie does her research on Calamity Jane and Annie Oakley.
What a cool name.
You're going to come back with your book report tomorrow? Or how much time do you need?
Probably Thursday.
You should do an actual presentation.
All right, then
like
I'm going to
stand up with a microphone.
I'll do it when I come back on the plane Sunday night.
Okay.
Maybe I'll do.
You could do a PowerPoint.
That's what I'm thinking. I want to go to a PowerPoint party so bad, except the anxiety of having to put one together will kill me.
I think to start, you should do a PowerPoint presentation on Calamity Jane.
Just her.
Just her. And if we like it, if the crowd responds well, you can do one about Annie Oakley. Yeah, I was about to call her Annie Austin. It's a cool name.
Then I'm going to do one about oh my God. I love her. Why'd I forget her name?
The Queen.
No.
Amelia Earhart. Is that a plane you were doing? And with that, it is time for us to get out of here. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. Sorry for the technical difficulties we had earlier in the show. Us not being on camera and then the game not working. But we will be, for better or worse, back right here with you tomorrow. Peace out.